as in the interest of Hicks minor child, non-custodial party being Robert Nelson Hicks Jr., custodial party being Rashonda Rashay Scott, and this matter before the court on super modification and motion to confirm arrears. The court will note for the record that both parties have previously been noticed and served, that my understanding are both parties are present, that Mr. Glass is present, and the court will note for the record that the court did appoint him as an ad litem when we were last here in April, and we did a reset to allow him time to complete his investigation. So at this time, I ask the state for an opening to tell the court what the state's requesting we do here today, what you understand agreements and contested issues to be at this time. Then I'll allow Mr. Glass to make an opening statement to tell the court what he's requesting we do here today on behalf of his client, the child. And like I tell everyone, folks, I don't let individuals make opening statements unless they're licensed attorneys, and then because non-licensed attorneys tend to make closing arguments. So at the end of the hearing, if there's anything either of you want to tell the court that didn't come out during the testimony, you can do so as your own legal rep. But for right now, I don't want the lawyers to tell me what's at issue at this time. So again, I'll start with the state and go to the ad litem. Thank you.
Your Honor, it's the state's request that there be a final order today. Originally, Ms. Gustafson was appointed in this case, and she was given subpoena power to try to see if she could get income documents from Mr. Hicks. Mr. Glass was appointed because I believe Mr. Gustafson had a conflict in this case. As far as I know, Mr. Glass has not received any documents from Mr. Hicks. The state has not received any documents from Mr. Hicks. So today we're asking for child support to be set based on Ms. Scott's testimony that Mr. Hicks runs Slab City Customs in Killeen and sells cars in addition to his job, and asking the court to take judicial notice of the Bureau of Labor and Wage Statistics regarding car sales. It's weird that it came up twice today.
All right. Mr. Glass.
I concur with Ms. Hubbard, Your Honor. I spoke with Mr. Hicks. He did operate, may still operate a used car lot down in Killeen. I asked him for anything proving income tax return, any sort of business records. I believe one of the documents that Ms. Hubbard has is, in fact, his operator's license, along with the document that lets you charge sales tax or avoid sales tax, rather, as a retailer. And I've received none of those documents from Mr. Hicks. Now, there was a question of who he sent the documents to. I believe he claims that he sent documents, or will claim that he sent documents to an ad litem, or maybe in his words, the court, back November, December timeframe. I wasn't appointed until January. Additionally, that, Your Honor, I had to use some non-traditional collection methods to locate Mr. Hicks. I don't believe that Ms. Gustafson was ever able to locate him, but upon finding him, of course, asked for his any earning information, any tax information. He's not provided those to me. So I concur with Ms. Hubbard. I think we ought to go off of what the federal standard for used car dealer would be.
All right, folks, I will take judicial notice of the court file. It looks like the court has previously entered in evidence 2020 and 2021 and 2022 taxes. There's nothing in here about 2023. So at this time, I'll go ahead and so I'm going to swear the parties in. Let's get some testimony, and we'll see where this one leads. So at this time, Mr. Hicks and Ms. Scott, you're both unmuted. Both please stand before your video and raise your right hands. Yeah, please find a spot, ma'am, where you can, all right, and where you're not moving around. Thank you. All right, thank you. All right, thank you both very much. Raise your right hands. If both of you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're gonna give here today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you very much. Ms. Dodge, you can put your hand down. Mr. Hicks, do you so swear, sir? Okay, shows we got audio, sir, but I hadn't heard anything. Can you say something, please?
Yes, Your Honor. I
Okay.
unmuted.
All right,
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Do you so swear, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you both. Thank you very much, sir. You're under oath. I'm going to go ahead and let the state and that lamb call you as witnesses, sir. If there's anything else at the end you want to tell the court, I'll allow you to do so, and the same with you, ma'am. Go ahead and call your first witness, Ms. Hubbard. Thank you.
Thank you. The state would like to call Rashonda Scott. Ma'am, will you state your name for the record?
Rashonda Rashay Scott.
And the last time you were here in court, prior to this action, actually, let's go back. So since the temporary order, have you submitted documents to the state that show that Mr. Hicks has been running a car dealership?
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to need to do a little bit of evidence submission. Your Honor, may I share my screen?
Yes, you may.
Okay. So these pictures are kind of blurry, and I apologize. But ma'am, you sent in documents that were on your phone. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And what is this what you have sent to Mr. Glass and the state regarding a sales permit?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
And it is for it looks like Slab City. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
And it's very hard to tell the date on that, but you have not altered that document in any way. Is that correct?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Your Honor, do you want me to just kind of move through the photos and then introduce them all at once?
Let's do them individually.
Okay, Your Honor, I'd like to offer as respondent mothers one, a screenshot of a sales tax and use permit.
And at the end of the hearing, everything that the court does admit, you need to reduce to a PDF or JPEG and send it over to Belinda for me to put in the court file. But this time, I want to ask Mr. Glass, do you have any objections to RM1 coming in evidence?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Sorry. Kind of got off my screen there, sir. All right, then, Mr. Hicks, do you any objections, sir?
I opened a used car. I opened up a tire shop in 2000, and I closed my tire shop in 2002. And I just lost money, nothing but lost money on that.
It's good, sir, stop.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I know you're not a lawyer, but right now the state has proposed item to come in evidence. I'm not asking for an explanation of it. You'll be allowed to do that when it's your turn to testify. But is there a legal reason the court should not be allowed to review this this Texas sales and tax permit, sir?
No, that's legit. It's legit, sir.
All right, and I'll let you do your explanation later. Anyway, so RM1 is admitted. You may proceed at this time, Ms. Hubbard. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Okay. Your Honor, may I ask Mr. Hicks a question regarding his information, because this has not been redacted and it does have his address on it.
All right, then. Well, I'm going to ask you to. I'm definitely going to have you redact that for purposes of entering it before the court. But if you have a question about the specific address without saying it out loud what it is, I'll allow you to go ahead and ask that. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Hicks, do you have a concern if your home address is displayed in the hearing currently, which is being broadcast on YouTube?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Your Honor, I did submit these, and I may need to just describe it and let the court review it in camera, because I don't want to alter an exhibit that's being presented to the court.
All right, good enough. And sir, in camera means the court will look at it in chambers or at the bench outside the eyes of the internet on this one. So anyway, like I said, REM1's admitted. You may proceed at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Scott, did you also find a taxpayer number for Slab City Custom?
Yes, ma'am.
And you submitted a screenshot to the court, or to the Attorney General and to Mr. Glass?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And did you, when you took the screenshot, did you change anything or alter it in any way before you submitted it?
No, ma'am.
Okay. And it does show a taxpayer number in Bell County for Slab City Custom registered to Mr. Hicks. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And that permit date was issued on 6/24/2021?
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, I'd like to start to offer that in the evidence as Respondent Mothers 1.
No objection.
Sorry, I had to mute myself there for a moment. You mean RM2, correct?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor.
All right, then. All right, Mr. Glass has no objection. All right, again, Mr. Hicks, any legal reason that documentation should not come into evidence before the court, sir?
No, Your Honor.
All right, RM2 is admitted. You may proceed, Ms. Hubbard.
Okay. Your Honor, I would like to share my screen again.
Go right ahead.
Ms. Scott, is this also a picture you submitted to Mr. Glass and to myself?
Yes, ma'am.
And what is in this picture?
That is his sign, his fence, basically the new location that he has.
And so this is where you're proposing that the car lot is?
Yeah.
And when did you take this photo?
I can't remember the exact date.
Was it between the last time we were in court and now?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Have you altered this photo in any way?
No.
Is it a true and accurate representation of what you purport it to be?
Yeah.
I'd like to enter this into evidence as Respondent Mothers 3.
Glass?
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, again, Mr. Hicks, is there any legal reason this picture should not come into evidence showing the purport, showing what it is?
It's not there no more, but I have no objection, Your Honor, but it's not there no more.
All right, again, we're going to get your testimony on all this in a moment, sir. Thank you, but it was there at the time, so I'm going to go ahead and admit, RM, you may proceed.
Okay. And Miss Scott, is this also a screenshot that you sent in to me and Mr. Glass?
Yeah.
And what does it show?
One of many of his vehicles that he is selling.
And at what date was this post made?
December 21st, 2023.
And did you screenshot it on that day, or was it after that day?
I honestly don't remember.
Have you altered the screenshot in any way?
No.
Your Honor, I'd like to offer this in as Respondent Mothers number 4.
No objection.
All right, Mr. Hicks, any objections, sir?
No objection.
All right, it's admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, there are several car pictures that Miss Scott did send in. There's
What's the total number?
Total number of photos: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There are 12 photos in total, of which we've been through 4. Some are of cars. There's a couple of looks like a Facebook listing for the Slab City Customs business. And
this time, if you want to go ahead and do a cumulative of the automobiles, I'll let you bring them up individually. And we'll look at doing those as RM 5 cumulatively. And then if you want to see about getting those other items in, I'll let you do what you want to do on those. All right.
Yes, Your Honor. Okay, so and Miss Scott, this is a screenshot that you took. What is it of?
That's his page where he posted his cars for sale.
And
Ma'am, can you speak up? Yeah, you kind of were garbled on me on that one.
I'm sorry.
Can you go ahead and repeat what you just said? I'm sorry.
That is his page that he posted his cars for sale.
Okay.
And what was the name of the is that a Facebook post, or is that something else, or is that just a regular?
That's on Instagram.
Web? I'm sorry, it's Instagram? Okay. And what's the Instagram account?
It says Slab Hicks, and at the top, Slab City Custom.
All right, I'll let the state finish proving that up. Thank you.
And you were the one that made the screenshot, Miss Scott?
Yeah.
And you've not altered it in any way?
No.
And again, this was screenshotted sometime between the last time we were in court and now?
Yeah.
Okay. Your Honor, I'll move on to the next one.
All right. Well, I'm going to do those cumulative as RM number 5. Any objection to those coming to evidence at this time, Mr. Glass?
No objection, Your Honor.
All right. Again, Mr. Hicks, you're going to have an opportunity to explain or tell the court about all these items, but do you have a legal reason why we should not let these in evidence and discuss them with your testimony, sir?
No, Your Honor.
All right. RM 5 submitted. You may proceed, Mr. Hubbard.
Your Honor, there are 3 pictures of different car listings. Let me see if I can share my screen so I don't have to keep going in between them. Okay, Your Honor. Miss Scott, is this another listing of another car that you screenshotted?
Yeah.
Do you remember what platform this car was being listed on?
I'm thinking Facebook.
All right, here's the deal, ma'am. If you can't remember the exact information, then I'm probably not going to be able to put in. I got everything else already in, but I'm going to have to, if you don't remember where this one exactly came from, ma'am, and right now I just said, I can just see, is that cut off at the top at all, Ms. Hubbard, because I can't.
Yes, it's a picture of a phone, Your Honor, and it's just the bottom portion of the phone.
All right, then. Well, that one's going to be, I can't identify where it's from or what it's about. So that one I'm not going to let in. So let's move on to the next. Thank you.
Yes, Your Honor. Okay. And Ms. Scott, this appears to be a Facebook listing. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. And this is another car that was being offered by Mr. Hicks.
Yes.
It doesn't have a date on it. It just says Wednesday at 1:40 p.m. Did you take this screenshot between the last time we were in court and now?
Yes.
Have you altered it in any way?
No, ma'am.
Okay. And let's see. I think. And this is another Facebook screenshot from an account. Can you identify who the owner of the account is?
Robert Hicks.
Okay, and you said before that his Instagram is Slab Hicks.
Yeah.
So it's not uncommon for him to go by the name Slab Hicks.
No, he's actually in that picture right there.
Okay. And this was a friend request that was sent on a Facebook account to you?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you altered anything in this picture?
No.
Okay, and have you did you take the screenshot sometime between the last time we were in court and now?
Yeah.
Your Honor, I really think that the other two pictures are kind of cumulative, and
I'm gonna look at making that last one RM6 and this one RM7. And I'll ask whether or not Mr. Glass has any objection to RM6 or 7 coming in at this time.
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, again, Mr. Hicks, I'm gonna let you have the opportunity to explain these, but is there any reason that they should not be brought into evidence and discussed in this case?
No, Your Honor.
All right, 6 and 7 are admitted. You may proceed, Mr. Hubbard. And everything else is just cumulative. I think that's enough. All right.
yes, Your Honor.
So, all right, at this time, you may proceed with the questioning of the witness. Thank you.
So, Ms. Scott, it's your contention that Mr. Hicks is still running the car buying business?
Yes, he is. I was just there the other day.
By the other day, do you have a date or maybe a week you were there?
Hold on, I can give you the exact day I was there. Saturday, I was there.
So you're saying Saturday, June 1st, you were at the location that Mr. Hicks sells cars?
Yeah.
And what did you see there?
His fence was knocked down, and I had texted him and asked him, did he know that his fence was knocked down?
Did he respond?
Yes, I had called him because he didn't respond, and I had called him, and he had told me that he gotta get the fence fixed before the city comes messing with him. He has to put some holes in the ground before the city come messing with him about the fence being on the ground.
At that time, do you recall seeing cars on the lot?
Yes, with numerous of cars on the lot.
Do you have an idea?
His resident.
Do you have an idea of how many cars you saw at that time?
More than 10.
And do you have personal knowledge of Mr. Hicks's business on reselling cars?
So can you explain, like, I don't get that. Would you say, do I have personal knowledge? Like, do I know that he's selling cars?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay.
And ma'am, that means eyewitness knowledge. That's what that technically means. Or he told, it either has to be something you actually saw or something he actually told you, ma'am. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any idea of how long this business has been running?
He's been selling cars for years.
Do you have an estimate of how many years? Was it before COVID?
I met him in 2015. He was selling cars before me, so
Okay. Okay. And so the point of this is that you're asking the judge to take into consideration that income that he makes selling cars when setting child support today.
yeah.
Okay. And as far as insurance options go, how does your child have insurance currently?
Medicaid.
Okay. And I apologize. I'm looking. It looks like last time we kept your address and phone number out of the order. And so we need to address that today. Are you still asking the court to keep your home address and phone number out of the order, ma'am?
No, it's fine.
Okay. I pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Glass, you're a witness.
No questions of this witness, Your Honor.
All right, ma'am, I'll be back in a moment, but this time I'll go ahead and let the state call the next witness. Thank you.
Thank you. The state would like to call Robert Hicks. Sir, can you state your name for the record?
Robert Nelson Hicks Jr.
And sir, as far as if we were to take a judgment as of today, you're actually paid ahead is in the amount of $2,334. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Your Honor, I'd like to offer State's Exhibit 1, which is the pay record for Mr. Hicks.
All
No
right.
objection.
Okay, at this time, I have State's Exhibit number 1 here. This is your pay record, sir. Is there any legal reason that this shouldn't come in evidence at this time, Mr. Hicks?
No, Your Honor.
All right, State's 1's admitted. Thank you very much. I'm sorry, ma'am, Ms. Scott, is there any reason State's 1 shouldn't come in evidence?
I'm sorry.
Is there any objection that the pay record in your case should not come in evidence, ma'am?
No.
I'm sorry, ma'am, you cracked up. Well, can you repeat? Was that yes or no?
I said objection for that.
Ma'am, I couldn't hear you.
I said no, I don't have an objection for that.
All right, thank you, ma'am. State's 1 is admitted. You may proceed.
Thank you. Mr. Hicks, are you working anywhere right now?
Yes, ma'am. I've been working at PTSI for 18 years. I haven't had time to do anything else.
And what do you do there?
I cook.
Okay. How much do you make an hour?
$19 an hour.
And you said you just recently got a pay cut?
Yes, ma'am.
What happened to cause that pay cut? Just a general downturn, or what happened?
I was working in North Fort Hood, and then I got sent to Main Post, and they took off for a traveler's pay. They took off like a little traveler's pay when I was going to North Fort Hood, and now I'm just on Main Post. So they took off like the traveler's pay.
Okay. And so that $19 is all you're receiving from that job currently. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
You don't receive any bonuses or any kind of commission or anything?
No, ma'am.
Okay. How many hours do you usually work?
40 hours a week.
Okay. Does that job offer any health insurance that you could cover Malia out?
I'm paying that right now, but yes, they do, and I've been trying to get her on it, but she just wants to stick with Medicaid. I'll just pay that.
Okay.
But I was trying to get it cheaper. I was trying to, but.
Do you know what the cost would be if you were to cover her on your insurance?
I want to believe it was $30. If I cover her on my insurance, it would be $30 a month.
$30 a month. And then is that for health insurance and dental, or is it just the medical insurance part?
I want to say it's just the medical insurance part.
Do you know how much dental might be if you were to cover her on your insurance there, if it's offered?
I'm not 100% sure. No, ma'am. I'll have to go ask the job.
Okay. As far as the car dealership, You said you do not work on that anymore?
I never owned a car dealership. I've owned a tire shop for 2 years and that failed. I never owned a car lot. I have a storage where I store cars that I tinker with that are broke down and stuff.
And so the cars that are on that lot are cars that you're just storing there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you pay rental for that lot?
Yes, ma'am.
How much do you pay each month for rent on the lot?
Like I say, this is a new lot. I've only been renting at this lot for like a year and a half now, when I've only just been renting stores for $400 because there's no electricity, no water. You can't open a business at this lot.
What's the location of the lot? Do you know the address?
Yes, ma'am. It's 301 East Rancier.
Okay. And do you have cars stored also at your house?
Stored? What do you mean stored? Yes, I own a couple of cars. Yes, I own a couple of cars, but they're not for sale. They're my personal cars. I like cars.
No other cars like that you're tinkering with or anything like that besides the two that you own?
I have 1, 2, 3, 4 cars at my house.
Do you own all of them?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Are any of them non-running or non like registered cars that would not be able to be driven?
All of them are, just besides one, are non-running.
Okay, so 3 non-working and one that's like your driver to get to work.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I pass witness, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Glass, questions?
Just a few, Your Honor. Good afternoon, Mr. Hicks. How are you?
I'm doing all right, sir.
Hey, we spoke, didn't we?
Yes, sir, a while back. Yes, sir.
And you're probably feeling right now like this is some kind of setup, aren't you?
Wow. Wow.
Or
yes,
ambush.
sir. Yes, sir. Most definitely.
All right. Help me out a little bit here. I'm going to ask you a couple of kind of open questions because I thought we had a pretty good conversation. Do you remember anything about the conversation?
A little bit.
Okay. What my notes reflect, I'm going to ask you if you remember this. Do you remember us talking about this being a child support case?
Yes. Yeah.
And I'd been appointed to basically to get some information about income from you.
Yes, sir. And yes, sir.
Okay. Now, you have given, or you had given the other attorney that I replaced, you gave her, or you filed with the court some older income tax returns, right?
Yes, sir. I filed a big packet, and right now I have in my email, I have all my returns from 2000 all the way up to 2004. I have my returns right here in my email, and I have all my child support in my email. I could send them if it's somewhere that y'all need me to send them to. I could send them right fast, or I don't know.
My math, unfortunately, isn't fast enough to do that. Maybe that's something the judge would like us to do, but I want to ask you, when we spoke about getting some evidence that could help you in this situation, did you understand what I was talking about?
No, not really, because no, I didn't, not really.
Okay.
Because I filed that big packet in November, and then I filed a big packet in November. Then my child support just automatically changed in December. It went up in December. And then, so I thought everything was over with basically then, because my child support just went up in December. So I was paying $300 by the court. That was by the judge, because I bought a judge 8 years ago when we went through this, and we had got it set at a set rate. And like I say, in November, y'all asked me for all this information. I filed it before November. I filed it in November, but in December, my child support went up. It went up to the max 20%, and I thought it was over with. And now I'm just being bombarded with like saying I should do all this other stuff.
So that happened in December, correct?
Yes, sir. That my child support went up. Yes, sir.
And thought things were done in December. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So explain to me, help me understand this. I would have had to have called you after December because I didn't get appointed to this until I think January. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I spoke with you. Did you think that I was like behind, that I didn't realize that your child support had changed, or that you'd submitted documents, or what were you thinking when I asked you to give me updated documents about your income?
I thought we had everything. Like I said, I've been on child support since my daughter was 1.5 years old. I didn't know there was any more documents that I could give y'all that.
I understand you've been on child support, and I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I want to make this, the answer is kind of simpler than what you're trying to make it. I spoke to you after you submitted all those documents. I spoke to you after your child support had changed. And I asked you for updated information. Why didn't you provide it to me? You could have saved yourself a lot of heartache. We are right now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I don't
give you some background on that question. Would you consider yourself a car guy? Maybe not a salesman, but a car guy.
Yes, sir. Most definitely. Yes, sir.
Okay. And you understand that there's pictures that have been introduced into evidence. I think there's a 2019 Buick, I think, for about 20 grand that was introduced as evidence. Do you recall seeing that picture?
Yes, sir.
And there's a fairly nice older Cadillac that I really like. Do you remember that?
Yes, sir. That's not mine, but yes, sir.
If you didn't pay 20 grand for that Buick, did you?
20 grand. I didn't sell that Buick for 20 grand either.
Okay.
I still have it.
Right, but you didn't give me any information to rebut that. I mean, like I said, I'm a car guy, and so I'm asking if you understand that I know what you're saying. You don't buy a car for the price you listed at. But if you don't give me any information, I can't show that you either, sold it for $500, or maybe you took a loss on it after you had to put new tires and belts and hoses on it. So my question to you is, why didn't you give me anything? Why didn't you help me out?
It was really nothing to give. There's nothing to give, but I mean, it was nothing to give. I owned a tire shop from 2000 to 2002.
Okay. Let me stop you there and ask you about that. So you owned a tire shop, and I think when we were in the breakout room, you said that you took a loss on the tire shop.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you've worked for 18 years cooking on base?
Yes, sir. That's what I've been doing. I haven't had time to do anything else. Yes, sir. 40 hours a week. I haven't had time to do anything else.
Sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you. If you've got somebody there working on your tire shop, now you've got a deduction to your business. See what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, some of these pictures of vehicles like that Buick are from December 2023, just a little over 6 months ago. That was not when you had that tire shop.
Yes, sir.
Can you help me with that? Like I said, this isn't an ambush. I'm trying to understand.
Yeah, I still own the Buick. Yes, sir. I still own the Buick. It has a salvage title. I can't get no more than probably, it's like $6,000, $8,000 out that car. I haven't sold it yet. I still have it. I bought it for $6,000 with a salvage title. You can't sell cars that much with a salvage title.
I understand.
What things that I post and what I actually make, I'm not making no money. I'm making losses or I break even. It's just like a hobby. I like to tinker with cars, and when I do sell them, I break even or I take a loss. I like to tinker with cars. That's what I do. But I don't I'm not selling cars every week. I might sell like 3 cars a year if I do sell a car. But I ran a tire shop for 2 years. But
you've still got something showing that you bought the car. I mean, Are you the guy doing the paper plates on them or somebody else?
I register them and everything. There's no paper plates. I register them.
So you're taking a loss?
Yeah, I'm taking a loss. I'm not. They're just my personal cars I tinker with.
And then you list them for sale?
I give them most of them to the junkyard. They're not even runnable. I just give them to the junkyard. After I take the parts off of them that I need, I give them to the junkyard.
You've still got that Buick that you had listed for 20?
Yes, I still have that car. I own that. Yes, sir. I still own that car.
Is it still listed for sale online?
It might be for like 10,000. I think it might be online for 10,000. Nobody's not even calling about it.
And it was a salvage vehicle, so you paid not a whole lot for it.
I paid like $65 for it.
Well,
and I had that car for 2 years already. I had that car for over 2 years. I haven't sold it. You know what I mean?
How do you have the business license that we had the picture of a few minutes ago? What's that for?
In 2000, I opened a tire shop in 2000, and I closed it in 2002. I did open a tire shop, and yes, I got the occupancy. I never used none of that, but yes, I did get the tax ID. I did everything to open a tire shop. I was paying $2,500 a month in rent, and I had to close it because I wasn't making no money.
Pass the
I
witness.
was never there.
All right, then. Thank you very much. Your witness, Ms. Hubbard.
No questions, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Hicks, I got some of your old income tax returns. They're already been placed in evidence. They're in the court file. It shows that you were running some type of business in 2021, 2022, that you took a loss on both those years, and it even shows that you had an employee. Was this that same business, sir?
Yes, sir. That's the business. That's the tire shop that we're talking about. Yes, sir.
No. I'm talking about this. Let me double check. I thought that was from 20. These returns are not from 2002. Were you trying to say 2002 or 2020, 2021 and 2022?
2021 and 22. Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. So you're saying something. I think you were. I was understanding your testimony saying that this was something from 20 years ago.
Oh no, sir. No, sir. No, sir.
Okay, so it's 2020. Okay, sorry. All right, and you still when's the last time you had the sale tax certificate, the tax certificate that was introduced in evidence? When's the last time that was renewed, sir?
I canceled that and closed all that down at the in the middle of 2023. I closed everything down. I closed my business and everything. I want to say.
Do you have something that can confirm that you've actually canceled that license, sir?
No, sir. I don't have nothing on me. I just.
Can you get that?
Yes, sir. I most definitely could get that though for you, sir.
All right. I need you to get that, and I need you to forward that to Ms. Hubbard and Mr. Glass. All right, then. Ms. Hubbard, are there any other witnesses you wish to call in this case?
No witnesses, Your Honor. I would just like to ask the court to take judicial notice of the BLS listing. I believe I had a less accurate one than Mr. Diamond had, so I'm asking him for his exhibit that was offered earlier.
Again, these are exhibits for people who work 40 hours a week at the job. I can take them into evidence, but I might have to do a pro rata on that one. But I will go ahead and I've got them here. So,
Your Honor, the one that I had was for, let me see, it was very specifically for automobile dealers.
Right.
And I was looking to use line 411012, first line supervisors of non-retail sales workers. So it was my understanding he had an employee and this was something he was doing full time. So, Your Honor, I understand that the court might not want to use those figures, but I would like to use something in line with at least a part-time use of those figures.
What was that line again? 41?
41, 1012.
41, 1012, okay. First line supervisors, non-retail sales workers, is that correct? Is that the one you're looking at?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, did Mr. Hicks ever present y'all, give y'all a copy of his W-2s and or his pay stubs from his current job?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Hicks, I'm going to need your most recent pay stub, sir, from your employment on Fort Hood. And do you have your W-2 from 2023, sir?
Yes, sir. I have my W-2s, my tax return, and I just have my child support. In my email.
All right, well, I need a copy of your W-2, sir, from 2023. And when's the last time you received a paycheck, sir?
I get paid on the 10th and the 25th.
All right, so I need your paycheck. I need a copy of your pay stub from May 25th of this year also, all right?
Yes, sir.
All right, so I need you to get all those items and reduce them to PDFs and forward them to both Miss Hubbard, and Mr. Glass, and I'll have them forward to me because I need to take this one under advisement and look at all the numbers on this one. And yeah, that was the other. Okay, that's the other case. I'll get back with them on that one in a moment. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to need you to provide that information, sir, going forward on this one. Okay.
Yes, sir. I can most definitely do that.
How fast can you do those? Get all that documentation to the states? Can you get it to them in the next 48 hours, sir?
In the next 48 hours? Yes, sir. Half of them. Right. Yes, sir.
All right, so you need to get it to them by the end of business on Thursday. All right.
Yes, sir.
All right. All right. So at this time, and I've got the state's exhibit 2, which is the average income information as dispersed by the federal government. Is there any legal reason, sir, that I should not, again, it's not saying I'm going to use it, but is there any reason I should not look at this information as far as possible income, sir?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand your question.
The state is giving me a government statistic that shows what people doing business and car sales earned on an average, and they're going to introduce this into evidence for the court to consider it as part of your case. Is there any legal reason, sir, that I should not allow it into evidence?
I mean, I don't own the tire shop no more, but it's...
I get that, sir. I got your testimony. I understand. But there, again, I know you're not a lawyer, but I got to hold you to that standard. If the state's asking to put this in evidence, is there a legal objection that you have to this, sir?
No, sir. I have no objection.
All right. Mr. Glass?
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, folks, I'm going to go ahead and I'll take closing statements and closing arguments at this time. And I'm going to start with Ms. Scott to tell the court if she has anything in closing she wishes to say. I'm going to then go to Mr. Hicks, and then I'll go to the ad litem, and then I'll go to the state. Thank you. So I'm going to start with you, Ms. Scott. Is there anything in addition, ma'am, you want to tell the court, or do you want to make as far as a closing statement at this time?
Yes, Your Honor. I heard y'all saying something about he has paid an employee. He's never had an employee. He's the only one that's been running.
Okay, here's the deal, ma'am. I'm just saying that was in his return at one time. I'm not saying again, ma'am, unless you can actually prove that. Again, I'm listening to closing statement, closing arguments. So what do you ask the court to do? And is there anything else in addition, ma'am? Go ahead, please. I'll let you continue.
I know last time. Okay, so if he's claiming that he has an employee or whatever, and isn't there some kind of proof that he can show y'all that he got a sent to the IRS, being that he's the owner and he's paying employees.
Yes, ma'am. I've already taken that into evidence already.
Okay.
Anything else, ma'am?
No.
All right, Mr. Hicks, anything else you want to tell the court?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Glass, closing.
So, Judge, here's kind of what got me about this is, as I understand my appointment, it was to determine if Mr. Hicks had what his sources of income were. And Mr. Hicks's testimony has shown that we spoke after December. In fact, it was probably fairly well in January or February when we spoke. He hasn't provided me anything to help him out. On top of that, the pictures of these vehicles that are for sale, which he admits are his, are from December 2013. Now, we know those things. What we don't know how much he paid for the vehicle, don't know how much it's cost to repair it, don't know how much it's actually sold for, or if he's ever even sold it. And I can see him shaking his head. So there's a lot that we don't know about this. If we had some more evidence, I think we could make a pretty accurate estimate of what Mr. Hicks makes. But based upon the car lot, I don't think he's making, top dollar. He's not related to Don Ringler or anybody. So hopefully Mr. Hicks will get us the information here on W-2 and something showing a tracking of these vehicles. It'd be easier if he was the guy doing the paper plates, or if he knew who was doing the paper plates, so that we could track the sales on them. Because I don't think it's going to be as great a business as Ringler Brothers. But without that, it's really difficult for me to make a recommendation to you other than, yeah, it appears that he has kind of a side job selling cars and works full time.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Hubbard.
Your Honor, the state's asking for the court to consider doing a final order today to find that Mr. Hicks is paid ahead in child support as of $2,334 as today, to find, and I've got a couple of income scenarios for the court. If I were to take half of what was listed in the BLS and put it under self-employed income, that'd be $4,839.47. And for wages and salary, for what Mr. Hicks testified to as to working as a cook, it'd be $3,293.33. The state is willing to continue medical support and ask Ms. Scott to continue to apply for government medical in this case, and we can keep the charge at $137 just to make sure that the money goes to her instead of the state. But the guidelines child support in that case for one child in this order, no other children, is $1,206. If it's just the income that Mr. Hicks earns as a cook, that would be government medical of $148 and guideline child support of $532. And I believe that the prior order back in December, where Mr. Hicks was not present that day for the court hearing, ordered $496. So either of these is larger than what was testified to with tax returns and documentation previously, despite the fact that Mr. Hicks says he is no longer receiving the traveler's pay. So I'm guessing the the truth lies somewhere in the middle of these figures. I'm just asking the court to consider that Mr. Hicks has had ample time in order to provide documentation, and he's been given extra time to provide documentation. And I don't think that if he was selling cars, that it's going to show up on the documentation he's going to provide. So the state's requesting that the court take Ms. Scott's testimony and her exhibits into account when calculating what guideline child support would be in this case. And I don't believe either party has requested non-disclosure in this matter, so the state is not requesting that. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank y'all all very much. I want the, like I said, Mr. Hicks, I need you to provide that information to Mr. Glass and the state by 5 p.m. on D-Day, June the 6th. So that's coming up in a couple of days. Mr. Hicks, it lists that you had an employee, and I hadn't gone back. It was either in 2021, 2022, when you were doing the tire shop bit. Who was your employee, sir? What was his name or her name?
Bland Mayhew.
What was the name again?
Bland.
Bland. And spell the last name.
Look it up. I cannot find his last name right at the moment.
All right, then. But you did say that he was your employee. You wrote it off on your income tax. Did you give him a 1099 or a W-2, sir?
No, sir. I don't believe so. I cannot remember.
I'm sorry. You didn't give him either, or you don't remember which one?
I don't remember which one he got.
All right, and so you need to look that up, and I need to get that copy also by the close of business on Thursday also. So by law you had to give either a 1099 or a W-2. So I need that. I need to get a copy of that, sir. So give that to Mr. Glass and Mrs. Hubbard also. All right.
Yes, sir.
All right, guys, go ahead. I want to go ahead and take this one under advisement. Ms. Hubbard, I do have some cases on Friday, so you could give either you or whoever, if you're there on Friday, or if one of your other AAGs can come in and they can confirm whether or not they got it. And of course, Mr. Glass at 5 p.m. on Thursday, send Belinda an email confirming whether or not you got it. Okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you, everybody very much.
Question.
Yes, ma'am. What's your
where
question?
did they go to?
I'll let the state, when we get off the record, take you in the breakout room and make sure you get the right address to send that to, sir. But before that, Ms. Scott, you have a question. What's your question, ma'am?
So is there a way that you can also request his the paperwork that he's doing through the auction when he's buying all these cars that he's not making money on, but he's steady buying them?
All right, here's the deal, ma'am. I didn't hear any testimony about any auctions or one way or the other. I may just went over my head. But unless that was included, and I don't think the state's request for production would cover something like that. I'll have to double check and look and see what their request for production that he was served with. I cannot tell you the answer to that right now, one way or the other, ma'am.
Okay.
Any other questions, Ms. Scott?
No.
All right, let's get the data in and I'll see about making this a final order, or it needs to be a further attempt while I get some more information. But I need to get the information I've already requested, and we'll see what that leads to and see what I can make as far as a final ruling on this one. So thank y'all both very much, and we're off the record, and I'll allow the state to go into a breakout room with Mr. Hicks, and if you want to talk to Ms. Scott, also Ms. Hubbard, you can in a separate room, and give Mr. Hicks your electronic information for sending that information. And do you have Mr. I know Mr. Glass has given it to you before, Mr. Hicks, but do you have Mr. Glass's email information?
No, sir. I will. May I get it again?
All right, so I'll let Mr. Glass send Mr. Glass over in that room with you, Ms. Hubbard, so y'all both can give him your information. All right.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everybody, very much, and we're off the record.
Thank you, Your Honor.